within our specific community, who is day and night tirelessly instilling Srila Prabhupada's words within all of us, and just particularly guiding the youth to get closer to Krishna ultimately. So that's the highest service that could ever be done. Is it okay, Prabhu, if we can say a loud Hari Bol to welcome you? Okay. 3, 2, 1. So should we do a little kirtan here, or I don't know how does it happen over live streams and video conferencing?
Maybe what we could do is I'll maybe do like a minute or two long kirtan, and then we'll get started in the discussion, if that's okay.
Sure, bro.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, you're clear to us.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. My heart full of gratitude, my heart full of appreciation for all the wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who have assembled. My obeisances to the presiding deities of your centers, of your temples, and my obeisances to all the senior Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and a special gratitude to my dear family friend Jagannath Krishna Prabhu, whom I've known for many years, for kindly arranging this talk and this opportunity to serve all of you. So I would like to start by doing maybe a couple of minutes of kirtan, and then we'll have class. Jai Radha Madhav Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Jai Girivar Dhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radharamana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radharamana Hari Govind Jai 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 Gauranitai 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 Jai Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Harir Nama Iva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva 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 Gatiranyatha Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. My prostrate obeisances to all the wonderful Vaishnavas who have assembled live, and also those who are listening to the broadcast either through Zoom or through YouTube, or maybe at a later time through a recording. My obeisances to each one of you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I've been asked to speak on one of the most controversial pastimes of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna steals the garments and the clothes of the gopis. So for maybe an hour or so we'll have a discussion, and then we'll open the floor for questions and reflections and comments. Does this sound reasonable? Yes? Okay, thank you for your permission, thank you for your approval, and thank you for this golden opportunity. Tava vikriditam Krishna nrinam paramamangalam karna piyusham asadhya tyajantanyas praham jana. In the Bhagavatam it is described, Tava vikriditam Krishna. O Krishna, your pastimes are so powerful. Nrinam paramamangalam. These pastimes can bring in supreme goodwill and supreme benefit in the life of those who are the listeners. Karana piyusham asadhya. Krishna's pastimes is nectar for the ear. It is entertainment for the ear. It is enrichment for the mind and enlightenment for the soul. And this is so amazing that Karana piyusham asadhya. This nectar enters through the ear and goes straight into the heart. And what does it do? Tyajanti anyas praham jana. Just like when the sun rises, what does the sun do? The sun paints the whole sky red. The sky that's become darkened by the ignorance of the night has now been, the darkness has been dispelled and light has been dissipated and the whole sky has been painted red by the rising sun. Similarly, Krishna Katha in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam is the sun. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar Jaha Krishna Taha Nai Mayer Adhikar. Krishna Swadhamopagate Dharma Jnana Dibisaha Kalau Nashta Drishameta Puran Arka Aduna Uditaha. In the Bhagavatam it is described that Krishna Lila, Krishna Katha is like the rising sun. And when this nectar enters through the ear into the dark sky of the heart, which is completely dark because of lifetimes of ignorance or avidya, then tyajanti anyas praham jana. Our offenses, our anarthas, our confusions, our conditionings, our bad habits, our addictions, our bad personalities that we have collected over lifetimes, our inclinations, proclivities, all of them are driven away. Just like when the room is completely dark and you switch on the light comes in and the darkness leaves. When the sun rises, the darkness leaves and the whole sky becomes beautiful. Similarly, the night sky of our heart, which has become darkened by the forgetfulness of Krishna, becomes divya gyan hriday prakashita, becomes completely illuminated. Such a person is an enlightened soul. And all of this happens just by being in touch with Krishna's name and Krishna's Leela. Holy name and holy fame. That is Japa and Kirtan and Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. So Tava Vikriditam Krishna Nrinam Parama Mangalam Karna Piyusham Asadhya Tyajantyanyas Praham Jana. This beautiful verse gives us the direction in which we want to go. That, my dear Lord, by drinking the nectar of your pastimes through the cup of our ears, we aim to develop love for you, and we want to cleanse our heart, our consciousness, and overcome our lower conditioning. This is our desire. So now, coming to the chapter under discussion, this is chapter 22 of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is quite an important chapter with some lessons as well, and a lot of scope for us to stand up for the Lord whom we worship on our please forgive me for my bad throat. Change of weather, not as bad as it is in Toronto, Canada, but the winter has been quite bad even in America. So please forgive me for the bad throat there. So chapter 22 of the 10th canto gives us a nice scope to stand up for the Lord whom we worship as the Lord of our lives on the altar of our hearts, Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan. Just a little prelude to this chapter, a little introduction. We find that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Shukadeva Goswami, and this is in line with Srila Sanatana Goswami's commentary, that Srila Shukadeva Goswami, he describes pastimes in line with the seasons around the year. Now for us, we do know some seasons, but in the world, in the country that we live in, you could have winter, and then you can have the drizzle of the rain. And sometimes it's cold, and tomorrow again it's 70s, only to dip to the 20s and the 30s the day after. But in Vrindavan, as described in the Bhagavatam, there are 6 seasons. There are 6 seasons, starting with the spring. We have the spring season, which is called as the Vasanta Ritu. It's good to know the Sanskrit terms for record purpose, because we know festivals and names related to these seasons. Like, for example, we know the Vasanta Panchami, the 5th day in the month of the spring season, Vasanta. So the first season is the Vasanta, or the spring season, and then after that we have the Grishma. The word for season in Sanskrit is Ritu. Ritu, so I'm going to use that term. Vasanta Ritu, or the spring season, followed by the Grishma Ritu, starting with the G, Grishma Ritu, meaning the summer season, followed by the Varsha Ritu, which is the monsoon season, and then after that you have the Sharad Ritu, which is the autumn season, and then you have the Hemanta Ritu, which is the pre-winter, and then you have the Shishir Ritu, which is the actual winter. So these are the 6 seasons: Vasanta, spring; Grishma, summer; Varsha, monsoon; and then Sharad, autumn; and Hemanta, pre-winter; and Shishira, which is the actual winter. And each of these seasons get 2 months each. So 6 times 2 is 12, and that's how the whole year is celebrated, with beautiful festivals and wonderful pastimes in Braj Mandal. Shukadev Goswami describes the seasons and then also follows it up with the pastimes that occurred in those seasons. Like, for example, in chapter 20, he describes the autumn season. He describes the Sharat Kal. And then in 21, he describes the pastime in the autumn season, that is Venugit, chapter 21. Following which, chapter 22 finds its contextual place, where this pastime takes place immediately after the Sharad, or the autumn season, in the Hemanta Ritu, or the pre-winter pastime. Now this is interesting, that as we mentioned, the Hemanta Ritu, each of these seasons have 2 months each. The Hemanta Ritu also has 2 months, of which the first month is under discussion. So we are getting laser beamed focus now, dividing the 12 months into 6 seasons of 2 months each, and in that Hemanta Ritu, the pre-winter, is selected, and 2 months in that are bifurcated, and the first month is under consideration. It's interesting, it is in the first month of the pre-winter that the gopis perform the Katyayani Vrat to attain Sri Krishna as the husbands in their life. So that is the chapter 22 under discussion. This pastime is so dear to Krishna that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna remembers this and he says, Masanam Margashirshoham. The Hemanta Ritu, or the pre-winter, has 2 months. The first one is Margashirsha, and the second is called Pausha. Remember when we have the Pushya Abhishek, where there's a flower festival Abhishek on the Lords? That's in the Pausha month, therefore it's called the Pushya Abhishek. Sometimes we get confused, and because we use flowers, we call it the Pushpa Abhishek, which is fine. But as far as the technical term is concerned, it's called the Pushya Abhishek, coming in the Paush month, the second month of the Hemanta Ritu. So the first month is called Margashish, where the gopis perform the Katyayani Vrat, and the second is called Pausha. So Krishna loves this pastime where the gopis performed Vrat to attain him as their husband, and therefore in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, of all the months, I am the celebrated Margashirsha, the first month in the Hemanta Ritu, remembering the gopis. Also, Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in their comments, they have written that this also finds its context, because one chapter before this, that is chapter 21, Shukadev Goswami talks about the love that the married gopis, the wedded gopis have for Krishna, the anurag that they have for Krishna. So in Vrindavan, we have the Parakiya Bhav, where the gopis are married to gopas, who are expansions of Krishna, to hold the fort, to hold the gopis at home, while the gopis have natural, spontaneous love for Krishna. So that is called the Parakiya Bhav, which is completely condemned in this world in the form of extramarital affair. But urdhvamula madhashakam ashwatam prahuravyayam. What is amazing is that the most exalted in that world becomes the most degraded in this world, because this world is a perverted reflection of that world. So the Parakiya Bhav, which is the highest in Goloka Vrindavan, is the most abominable extramarital relation in this world. While at the same time, we find the most exalted thing in this world in the form of, let's say, gold or diamond and rubies are considered to be secondary to flowers and fruits and berry and gunja in that world. In this world, nobody would care for flowers and berries. Everyone wants to collect gold coins. But in the spiritual world, Mother Yashoda dresses Krishna with gold and diamond. And what does Krishna do? He replaces all of that. He goes into the forest and replaces all of that with gunja. Gunjavatamsa paripichala sanmukhaya. Krishna has earrings of gunja, berries and flowers and phala pravala stabaka, sumana picha dhatubihi, kacha gunjamani swarna, bhushita apya bhushayan. Krishna ties beautiful berries and beautiful flower garlands and leaves and nice fruits and beautiful, beautiful cluster of flowers that Krishna uses on his turban also, and as necklace also, and also as armlets and bracelets and even ankle bells. So gold gets replaced by flowers in that world. And everything is topsy-turvy in Goloka Vrindavan compared to this world, while everything is topsy-turvy here compared to that world. So in chapter 21, the love of the wedded gopis is described. And in chapter 22, we have the love of the unwedded gopis who want to marry Krishna. So this is also another beautiful context. Now, before we proceed in this chapter, one thing that is very important to set straight in our dictionary, our vocab and our understanding is that unfortunately this pastime in paintings gets depicted as if Krishna is stealing clothes of gopis who are post-puberty and completely adolescent and grown up, completely grown up. But this is not true. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in this chapter, time and again, Srila Shukadeva Goswami uses the word Kumarika. Now, what does the word Kumara mean? Kaumaram acharet prajnaha. Those less than 5 years old. So that is the context as far as age is concerned in this pastime. The gopis who are performing vrat are about 4 to 6 years old. That's how young they are. And not just that, they are not just Kumari, meaning young, they are Kumarika. In Sanskrit, when you want to show that something is very soft, something is very tender, something is very innocent, very loving, very lovable, you add the syllable, the pratyay, ka. Ka meaning komala. Komala means soft-hearted, innocent, simple, loving, lovable. So they are not just Kumari, young children, they are Kumarika. Oh, their bodies are tender and their hearts are very innocent, they're very devotional, they're very sincere, they're very cute and very sincere and very sweet-hearted. This is the meaning of the word Kumarika. Also, now another interesting point, these are not girls of this world, they are the Nitya Siddha Gopis. They are the eternal associates of Krishna. And how do we know that? Our acharyas explain the word Mara, M-A-R-A, Mara, is another name for Cupid or Kamadev. And the prefix ku means kupsita. Kupsita means disgust. Disgust. So they are so beautiful. These gopis, being eternal associates of Krishna, are so beautiful. They're mesmerizingly majestic in their opulence, yet so slenderously beautiful and sweet that once somebody looks at their effulgence and then looks at Cupid, mundane love of this world, they will feel disgusted. They will turn their face away from lust. After having darshan of the lotus feet of these gopis, they can't even look in the direction of mundane lust. So therefore they are called Kumara, Kumarika. Ku means Kupsita or disgust, and Mara means Kamadev. Those girls who are so beautiful, looking at whose beauty mesmerizes and charms the heart to such an extent, after looking at whom, if you look at Cupid, you don't want to go that route. You don't want to go the path of Cupid. So therefore they are called Kumarika. They are eternal associates, they are soft-hearted, they are tender girls who are about 4 or 5 years old, and at the same time they are extremely beautiful, and there is no presence of lust here. So this is setting record straight in the beginning. Now, proceeding ahead, another misconception or another question that could be asked in this regard: is Radharani part of this pastime? Quite an interesting question, because we are worshippers of Radha and Shyamsundar. So is Radharani part of this pastime? And our acharyas emphatically pronounce, no. Radharani is not part of this pastime. One, because she, being the queen of Vrindavan, doesn't have to perform tapasya to attain Krishna as her husband. And second, we can't go through a pastime where the queen of Vrindavan is to beg to Krishna to get her clothes back. This is not possible. So therefore Radharani is not part of this pastime. In fact, Radharani is part of the previous pastime, chapter 21, where Srimati Radharani in Venugit speaks beautiful, beautiful verses. Another thing that has been set straight in the start of this pastime, Shukadev Goswami says, Nandasya Vraja. These girls are girls in Nanda Maharaj's village. Now what does that mean? None of these girls have blood relation with Krishna. They are not daughters of Nanda Maharaj's brothers, for example, because in that case they will be Krishna's sisters, and Krishna can't have a pastime with his own sisters where they're praying to have Krishna as their husband. It's not possible. So Shukadev Goswami, while saying these girls are girls performing vrat in Nanda Maharaj's village, what does that mean? These are daughters of small landlords in Vrindavan. Nanda Maharaj is the king of Vrindavan. He is the supreme king. He is the authority. And under his auspices, under his managerial umbrella, there are many landlords. And they have daughters, young daughters. And those daughters have desires. We want to marry Krishna. And their fathers tell them, look, this is not possible, because Nanda Maharaj is the king. And you are a daughter of such a small landlord, small-time landlord in Vrindavan. Thousands of such landlords are at the mercy of one Nanda Maharaj. And if every daughter of every landlord desires, I want to marry the son of Nanda Maharaj, this is not possible. They say, but we are gopis and he's Gopa. The landlords say, yes, as far as caste is concerned, we don't have a problem. But as far as hierarchical, financial, economic status is concerned, it is not possible. They said, is there any way by which we can attain Krishna? So the parents say that, why don't you go and pray to Katyayani Devi? Why don't you pray to Durga? And why don't you take your daily bath in the auspicious waters of the Jamuna? If you bathe in Jamuna, and if you perform tapasya, and if you pray to Durga Devi, what remains impossible? So the landlords are inspiring their daughters to be God conscious right from childhood. This is the purpose. And they were completely confident it is not possible to attain Krishna's hand in marriage, because he is the king or the prince at the moment. So that is the context. The point that Srila Sanatana Goswami writes in his commentary is that all those who cannot be the wives of Krishna because of blood relation or because of social status. They're all avoided. They're not, they're restricted and they're forbidden in this pastime. These girls or these gopis are eternal associates of Krishna, and they are daughters of landlords who desperately want to bind Krishna with ropes of love as their husband. So now, keeping, because this is only one class of an hour long, therefore to keep the complexity of Sanskrit away, we will not quote the shlokas or the translations or the purports, but we'll just have a free-flowing discussion. Of course, devotees are always welcome to go through this section of Srimad Bhagavatam at will. So as advised by their parents, all these beautiful, young, innocent, devotional girls who are about 4 or 5 years old, they prepare. They leave their homes early in the morning in this month, performing Katyayani Vrat. In this Margashish month, the first month of Hemant Ritu, pre-winter. As we know, Vrindavan does get very cold, and this is just the month after Kartik. So Kartik is the autumn season, the Sharat Purnima, and the month after is Hemant Ritu. And this is beautiful because Radha and Krishna are always worshipped together. In their names, we always say Radha Krishna. In their forms, we always worship Radha and Krishna. And even as far as times are concerned, the seasons are concerned, we have the Kartik month depicting Srimati Radharani's auspicious presence, where she is the goddess. And following Kartik month is the Katyayani month, the month of Margashish, where Krishna is the predominating deity. So Radha and Krishna are also coming together as the time factor in the months of the year. These beautiful young gopis, they hold hands and they walk from their homes far away to go to the banks of the Jamuna to bathe in ice-cold winter water and worship Bhadrakali, Durga Devi, as she is the mother of the whole world. Sri Hari Suriji, at this point, he writes a brilliant comment in his Bhakti Rasayanam. He says, why didn't the gopis worship Lord Shiva? Because generally, you worship Lord Shiva to get a good husband. You can worship Lord Shiva and you can worship, and there are so many devatas, so many demigods and so many goddesses. You can worship Lakshmi, you can worship Annapurna, you can worship Saraswati Devi. Why worship Bhadrakali? So Sri Hari Suriji says, Katamopi na matratulyam bhavya pradahi bahavo. Although in this world, everyone seems to be kind to us. Our friends are kind to us. Our spouse, our wife is kind to us. Our children, our grandchildren, our grandparents, our relatives, they're all very nice to us. But nobody, Hari Suriji writes, nobody, absolutely nobody can offer love and can offer affection and gifts like one's own mother. Because one's mother gives us this body, one's mother gives us rent-free accommodation in her own body for 9 months. Think about it. Nobody lets us live without a rent in this world, and our mother is ready to be kicked in the womb by us and feed us with her own food and with her affection. And she takes so much pain at childbirth and even in raising the child. So nobody can give us as much love and give us as much compassion and gifts as much as our own mother. So the gopis thought, who is the mother of the whole creation? And the answer is Bhadrakali or Durga Devi, Katyayani. And therefore they went straight to the mother. Mother, we want your help. We want a gift to beg for. Srila Sanatan Goswami has also written something very beautiful about the word Bhadrakali. We use this word Bhadrakali quite often. We find temples in India of Durga Devi or Kali, and the word Bhadrakali is quite popular. Srila Sanatan Goswami gives a nice Krishna-conscious grammatical interpretation to the word Bhadrakali. He says the word Bhadra means auspiciousness, and the word Ka means joy, and the word Ali means multitude or groups or rows. So what does the three words Bhadra plus Ka plus Ali put together mean? She who can give us rows of auspicious joy. And who is that? Shri Krishna. Krishna is the multitude of auspicious joy, and she who can give Krishna to them is Bhadrakali. So they went straight to Bhadrakali. We haven't even still started the pastime. Look how beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam is. There's so much that can be fluffed out through these beautiful verses. It is described that this 1 month, the gopis were completely self-controlled with respect to their eating, and for 1 month they ate unspiced khichdi. Unspiced khichdi. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad writes in his comment that the gopis were eating rice with ghee and also drinking some milk. All of that which can be offered into fire, sacrificial fire. You see, the sacrificial fire is called Havan. And all that can be offered as an offering into the Havan is called Havishya. So the gopis, for 1 month, they were restricted in their eating. Of course, they were always restricted, but especially this 1 month, no salt and no sugar, no sweets. They were eating all of those ingredients that could be offered into the fire. Srila Jiva Goswami says also some seasonal fruits that were available at that time is what the gopis were self-sustaining themselves. This is very important. Sometimes people ask this question, what has eating to do with Krishna consciousness? Well, according to yoga, ahara shuddhi sattva shuddho, sattva shuddhi is dhruva smritihi. We are what we eat. The more quantity and the more opulent quality of food that we eat, naturally we feel sluggish, we feel lazy, and the tendency to procrastinate increases. We want to sleep, we want to take a rest, 2-hour nap in the afternoon after a heavy meal. And that goes against the principle of eating. Because in physics, energy is defined as the ability to do work. Imagine you feeding in the system only for the system to break down for 2 hours. What kind of feeding is that? It's like feeding fuel into the car so that the car moves, not so that you fuel the car and the car stops. This is quite important. This is why even in the Upadeshamritam, Sri Rupa Goswami starts by saying Vachovegam. Bhakti is about controlling our senses, controlling our tongue. Even in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, it is described, Jibhara lalasa ei iti uti dhai, shishna udara parayana krishna nahi pai. That if someone runs helter and skelter, if one runs hither and thither just to fulfill the wants of one's tongue, then one may get what we want to eat, but we will not get Krishna. This is the statement of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, for newcomers, to encourage them into the temple, we can have a nice Sunday feast program and feed them opulently. But how long are we going to be hanging on the taste of the tongue? Bhakti is about finding taste in the heart through Vaishnav Seva, through Shastra, through Harikatha, through Kirtan, through Vigraha Seva. This is why we see even Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to perform austerity deep into the forest, his eating habits have been well defined by Shukadev Goswami. Because bhajan and bhojan are directly related. And this is why on the day of Ekadashi we fast. Not that we make frivolous, opulent plans to feast under the umbrella of fasting. So back to the story. The gopis ate in small quantities, not very opulent food, and they performed a lot of austerity. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is described, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe sanatana, Krishna se ratana dhana, aneka jatana se milai, aneka jatana se milai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatan Goswami that Krishna is that rare jewel who is obtained only by perseverance and hard work on a consistent basis. Aneka jatana se milai. Krishna is a Ratan and he is attained through Yatan. Yatan means hard work. Prabhu kahe Sanatan, Krishna se Ratana Dhan, Aneka Jatana se Milai. Krishna can be obtained only by consistent hard work. Nobody told the gopis to perform vrat like this, but they were the ones driven by their inner desire. They went on to worship Katyayani Devi with so much sincerity. It is described that the gopis, they would leave their homes holding hands. And our acharyas describe 3 reasons as to why they would hold hands. One, out of love for each other. The little girls early in the morning, way before sunrise, they would sing the names of Krishna and walk from their homes up to the banks of the Jamuna every day and holding hands with each other out of love for each other. Second reason, they were scared. What if in the darkness they step onto something scary? What if they fall into a ditch? So they would hold hands to support each other away from any slippery slopes. And third, to avoid falling down in ecstasy. Because the gopis were chanting the names of Krishna with so much love. Govind Damodar Madhaveti, Govind Damodar Madhaveti, Govind Damodar Madhaveti, Govind Damodar Madhaveti. So naturally ecstatic symptoms of hair standing on end, not because of the winter cold, but because of ecstasy and voice choking and body trembling and horripilating and even falling down unconscious were some of their signs and symptoms. So they would hold on to each other to avoid a fall in ecstasy. And after reaching the cold waters of the Jamuna early in the morning, it is described they would throw their clothes. Bhagavatam describes, Nikshipya. The little girls would not even remove their clothes and arrange them properly. They wouldn't care. They would, in ecstasy, they just wanted to jump into the waters of the Jamuna and sing, praying to the Jamuna, praying to Katyayani Devi to get Krishna as their husband. They were so driven by this inner desire that they would throw their clothes, and sometimes their clothes would be mixed up and they wouldn't care. They would jump into the water and with minds completely absorbed in Krishna's talking and Krishna's walking and Krishna's behavior and Krishna's smile and Krishna's flute sound and Krishna's the sound of Krishna's ankle bells. Remembering all of this, even cold winter mornings in the cold waters of the Jamuna, Bhagavatam describes Vihara Muda. The gopis would swim in ecstatic bliss. They didn't find any austerity, they didn't find any pain. They were swimming with so much joy. Also, Sripad Vallabhacharya describes they were swimming in the waters and splashing water at each other. Now, generally, if you see in a tirtha, in a holy place, one is not supposed to swim and frolic and splash and play. One should be in a very reverential mood. Now, for example, we find sometimes people jump into Radha Kund from a height, and the others are filming to put that as a little short on YouTube or as a reel on Instagram as to how that person actually jumped into Radha Kund. Radha Kund is not to be used as a swimming pool to get some likes and subscribers on YouTube. That's not the purpose. Tirtha is a place of reverence. So when we enter Ganga, we enter Jamuna, we enter Manasi Ganga, we enter Pavan Sarovar, Prem Sarovar, Radha Kund or Sham Kund, we perform Achaman, we offer obeisances, we perform Parikrama, and then with prayers, we enter 1, 2, 3, 3 dips and we are out. But the gopis here, it's described, they were swimming with joy and they were splashing water at each other. And Sri Vallabhacharya ji describes, the gopis were not breaking etiquette because of not knowing it. Well, they were so lost in thinking about Krishna that they were not even able to see each other. They were seeing Krishna everywhere and they were splashing water at Krishna in the mood that they were having water pastimes with Shyam Sundar. They were having Jala Krida, boat festival and Salila Vihar, beautiful water pastimes, splashing water as if they were playing with Krishna. So generally we don't play in tirthas and we stay moan. We don't talk, we don't joke. But the gopis were breaking all these points. They were talking loudly, they were laughing, they were frivolous. And also one should never bathe naked. According to Vedic culture, one should never bathe without clothes. Even the bare minimum one should have is have a kopin on, and never have our bodies exposed to the 10 directions and bathe naked in sacred ponds. The gopis were breaking all these principles. They were not moan, they were speaking, they were talking, they were joking. You're not supposed to swim and be frivolous. They were frolicking. You're not supposed to be naked. They were without clothes in that water. But please note, they were doing all of this because of ecstatic transcendental bliss. Ecstatic bliss. And now, when they came out of the water after bathing, every single day they would make a new deity, a sand deity of Durga Devi. Now this is interesting. When you make something in sand, you have some breeze, you have some water, and the deity disintegrates. You can't make a permanent deity out of sand. The gopis would make a deity of Durga Devi for one day. Next day, when they would come, the deity would not be in the shape of the deity. So now they would again make and remake every single day a new deity of Durga Devi. They never lost hope. Our acharyas describe, like Srila Sanatana Goswami writes in his commentary, that worshipping Krishna is always wonderful, but especially if you have a deity of Krishna, the results are faster. So therefore the gopis, like we see in the 4th canto, Dhruva Maharaj was also advised to have a deity. In the 9th canto, we see even Ambarish Maharaj worshipped a deity. We find even Bharat Maharaj worshipped a deity. And all the great souls, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, they all worshipped deities. So the gopis would make fresh, new sand deity of Durga every single day and worship Durga Devi. Now if you see in this section of the Bhagavatam, describes that the gopis worship Durga Devi with sandalwood paste, with lamps, with fruits, with betel leaves, betel nut, rice, leaves, garlands, flowers, incense sticks, and all of this extremely fragrant. Now if you think about it, the order is messed up. This is not the order in which you worship the deity. First you offer some bhoga, and then after that you worship the deity, you bathe the deity, you ornament the deity, and then you offer arati. But if you see in the Bhagavatam, sandalwood paste, and then lamps, and then fruits, and then betel nut, and then leaves, and then garlands, and then incense sticks, the krama, the order is completely broken. Why? Because Shukadev Goswami, while seeing this pastime in ecstasy, he's so absorbed that in his ecstatic transcendental bliss, he messed up the order because of his great devotional absorption in the pastime. How amazing! How amazing! So this also teaches us the lesson that when we are supposed to say something or do something, we should keep order. And if someone else is breaking order or not saying things in the right chronology, we should reconcile in our heart that this is happening because of their devotion. Instead of finding faults with them, we should see the good in them. And throughout, they were singing kirtans of Krishna and repeating one very famous prayer at the lotus feet of Katyayani Devi. This prayer is supremely famous, so let us all chant. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayoginyadhishwari Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. This is one verse to memorize from this chapter. Let's chant this again. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayoginyadhishwari Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. What does this mean? Katyayani. This is a call for Katyayani Devi. Mahamaye. O Mahamaya. Mahayogini, O Mahayogini, Adhishwari, O Adhishwari, Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi, O Devi, Nanda Gopa Sutam Patim Me Kurute. I am Kurute Namaha. Te Namaha. We bow down to you with this desire. After calling out to Katyayani Devi 5 times. Katyayani, Mahamaye, Mahayogini, Adhishwari and Devi. Durga Devi says, yes, what do you want? The gopis said, Kuru, please do. Please somehow do it. Now it's interesting, when you say something like this, you're supposed to be a little respectful and say Kurushva or Karya, Aap kara dijiye. Please make this happen somehow. That's how we request. But this is almost like an instruction. Kuru, do right now. Like how daughters may speak to their mother. No, I want it right now. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. Please make the son of Nanda Maharaj as our husband right now, right now. Maya, oh mother, this is what we want. So this is the mood of the verse. Now our acharyas get into this beautiful verse and give us some very sweet conversational insight. Now let's go through the same verse in a conversation. The gopis say, Katyayani, oh dear mother. So Durga Devi says, yes. Oh dear child, what do you want? Please, Mahamaye, you have great Shakti. You are Mahamaya. You can make impossible into possible. Please, O Mahamaya, please make us the wives of Krishna. You are the Shakti potency of Krishna. Chaye vayasya bhuvanani bivarti Durga. You have the power to make impossible to possible. You follow the Lord like the shadow follows the person. Please make us the wives of Krishna. This is all that we want. So Durga Devi says, but Krishna is not looking for a wife at the moment. How can I force him to get married to you? So then they say, Mahayogini. The word Mahayogini means she who's so mysterious and so mystical that she can push desires in the heart. So why don't you push this desire in Krishna's heart to look for a wife? Because the word yoga means to be united. So by calling Mahayogini, please make this grand union possible. From our sides, we want Krishna as our husband. Why don't you push this desire in the heart of Krishna and bring us together? So Durga Devi says, but to be honest, I am ready to do that, but I fear Lakshmi. Because Lakshmi is the wife of Narayan. How can I make you as the wives being Gopas and Gopis? How can I make you the wives of Narayan? I fear Lakshmi. To which the Gopis rebuttal by saying, Adhishwari, you are the goddess of everyone. You don't have to fear anybody. You are fearless because you sit on a tiger or a lion order carrier. You see, in Hindi, Durga Devi is called Sherawali, she who sits on a tigress. So you are endowed with unlimited potency. You are Adhishwari. Lakshmi won't have a problem. Lakshmi absolutely won't have a problem because you are the supreme goddess. She said, but I still feel Lakshmi will have some concern. To which the gopis say, Katyayani, Mahamaye, Mahayogini, Adhishwari. Next they say, Nanda Gopasutam. We are not wanting Narayan of Vaikuntha. We are wanting the little cowherd boy, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Lakshmi hasn't married a cowherd boy. Lakshmi has married the Lord of Vaikuntha. How tasty is Srimad Bhagavatam? How amazing is Srimad Bhagavatam? We haven't developed the desire to marry Narayan of Vaikuntha. We want to marry Krishna, who is Nanda Gopa Sutam, who is a Gopa, who is a cowherd boy, the son of Nanda Maharaj. And we are Gopis, he is a Gopa, we are of the same caste. Narayana is not a Gopa. So we can't marry Narayana, and therefore naturally Lakshmi won't have a problem. So now Krishna, as the son of Nanda Maharaj, is a Gopa, and we are gopis, we are of the same caste. Oh mother, there are no social restrictions. Please make this possible. We are of the same generation. We live in the same place. We are of the same caste. We are almost of the same age. Oh Maya, oh Katyayani, please make this possible. She said, well, it's very rare. Krishna is the son of a great king, Nanda Maharaj. And it's quite interesting. The gopis don't say Krishna even once. Because when you're supposed to get married to someone, you don't invoke them by the name. In Vedic culture, you always invoke them indirectly. So by saying Nanda Gopasutam, Patim me kurute namaha, please make the son of the king, Nanda Maharaj, may he be our husband. So they're not invoking the name directly. So Katyayani Devi says, I don't think this is possible because he's the son of a king. It's very rare. So now the gopis say, Gopa, Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi. The word Gopa means cowherd, but the word Gopa also has another hidden meaning. Go means Mother Earth, and Pa means protector. We are residents of Mother Earth, and Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj, he's Nanda Gopa. He is not just the protector of Vrindavan, he is the protector of the whole earth. And we are residents of this earth, and we are residents of Vrindavan. Won't Nanda Maharaj, who is the protector of the whole earth, protect our lives? Protect us from getting married to someone else? Nanda Gopa, may his son become our husband. So then Katyayani Devi said, why do you want me to arrange all this? Why don't you go and speak to Krishna directly? You go speak to Krishna directly. So the gopis said, this is not our culture, you know that. Parents arrange marriages. I can't speak to Krishna directly. Oh Maya, you are Devi. You are Devi. The word Devi has many meanings, many meanings, but 4 prominent meanings. Somebody who's effulgent, somebody who can make their worshippers effulgent, somebody who can fulfill all desires, and somebody who's extremely playful. So, O Katyayani Devi, you are fulfilling all these 4 categories. You are extremely effulgent. You are being playful now by not agreeing to our desires, by having this very playful conversation with the daughter. You can make us effulgent and qualified to marry Krishna because Krishna is extremely effulgent. And 4th, please fulfill our desire. The Div Dhatu in Sanskrit, Dyotnat, Danat, Deepnat, Kridashil. These are the 4 meanings of the Div Dhatu, the verbal root Div, from where the English word divine has manifested, from the DIV root in Sanskrit, which means effulgence, which means playful, which means someone who can make their followers effulgent and fulfill all their material desires. So in this way, we can find Krishna being the wonderful sweetheart of the gopis. Through Katyayani Devi is playing pranks. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi, Patim me kurute namaha. Please give Krishna as our husband. And they're not saying make Krishna as our husband. Asmakam pati. They say me pati. Each one of these gopis is using the singular usage in Sanskrit by saying, please make Krishna only my husband. May he be only my husband, out of extreme possessiveness. Extreme possessiveness. So Devi says, Katyayani Devi says, okay, no problem. I will inspire your parents to speak to Nanda Maharaj. So the gopis say, no, kuru, patim me kuru. You do it somehow. Don't go through parents. If you go through parents, it will take a long time. They will go through astrological reading and they will have discussions after discussions. We can't tolerate the passage of time. You please do it right now. You do it. You make it happen. So then at that time, Katyayani Devi says, Krishna can't marry because he doesn't even have an Upanayan Samskar yet. You can marry only after an Upanayan Samskar. So he doesn't even have an Upanayan Samskar. So the gopis said, okay, maybe not a main marriage, just have a Gandharva Vivah. Let Krishna come and accept us. May Krishna be sweet to us. May Krishna be kind to us. And it's quite interesting. we said, Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. The word Devi is a call for Katyayani Devi, but at the same time, the word Devi can be used with the next word, Patim. Katyayani, Mahamaye, Mahayogin Nyadhishwari, Nanda Gopasutam, that is Krishna, Devi Patim Kurute Namaha. May Krishna be our Devi Pati. Devi Pati means naughty husband. Because the word Div Dhatu, means to be playful. So please make our husband extremely playful. We don't want a very serious husband who is not even having time to joke with us, not even having time to talk to us. We want an extremely flamboyant, extremely romantic, extremely playful, extremely conjugal husband. So they prayed like this, calling out to Katyayani Devi as Devi. But in grammar, when you combine the word Devi with the word Pati, Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. Make the son of Nanda Maharaj as our most loving, playful, romantic husband. This was their prayer. This was their prayer. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. So then Katyayani Devi said, okay, yes, I will make it happen. You continue your vrat and I will make this happen. So the gopis perform vrat for 1 month. And it's interesting, they didn't start the vrat thinking that they will do it for 1 month. They were ready to go as long as possible. But Krishna is so kind. He reciprocated to the gopis within 1 month. 1 month is nothing. There are jivas, there are yogis who are performing worship of Krishna for lifetimes. Yadyapi samadhishu vidhirapi pashyati natava nakhagra marichim. Brahmaji with his 4 heads is meditating, and he can't even completely meditate on one ray of effulgence coming from the tip of the toenail of the lotus feet of Sri Shyamsundar. This is how everyone's standing in lines and queues to get Krishna's mercy. And Krishna saw the extreme hankering of these gopis and decided to reciprocate in 1 month, giving all of us this beautiful inspiration that if we walk the path of the gopis, not imitate them, but follow in their footsteps, as in, wake up early in the morning like they did. Take bath. It's not that we sleep till 10 o'clock and take our bath at 6 o'clock in the evening. There are so many who do that in the present generation. We could continue to do that, but we won't get Krishna. That's the only thing. Krishna is attained only by steadfast sadhana. So like the gopis, what are some lessons we can learn from them? To have very deep hankering in the heart to attain Krishna in one life. To wake up early in the morning. To take our bath. To perform deity worship. To sing kirtan. To associate with other gopis, which means with other devotees. And Sri Hari Suriji writes in his Bhakti Rasayanam, doesn't matter which deity you worship. The prayer should be, Patim Me Kurute Namaha. May I attain Krishna as my husband. And surely enough, when we enter a Durga temple, we are walking down the lane and we find a Durga temple. We don't have to avoid Durga Devi. Enter the temple and offer the prayer. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogin Yadhishwari Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. You enter a Lord Shiva temple. Vrindavana Vanipate Jayasoma Soma Maule Sanandana Sanatana Naradedhya Gopishwara Vraja Vilasi Yugangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupadi Namo Namaste. This is the second verse that we chanted for Lord Shiva. Is a prayer composed by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where he prays to Lord Gopeshwar Mahadev, O Mahadev, O protector of Vrindavan, please flood my heart with love for Radha and Shyamsundar. This is all that I want. Similarly, when we enter a temple of Ganesh, Lord Ganapati or Lord Ganesha, then we can offer prayers. Yat pada pallava yugam vinidhaya kumbha dvandve pranama samayesha ganadi raja vignan vihantumalamasya jagatrayasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That I bow down to the lotus feet of Krishna, whose lotus feet are placed on the head of Lord Ganesha in great devotion. You see the sun god early in the morning Yachakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja yasyajnaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I bow down to the sun and I bow down to the moon, who are the beautiful, effulgent, compassionate eyes of Krishna. So Sri Hari Suriji says, doesn't matter which devata you look at, like the gopis looked at Katyayani Devi. No problem. The prayer is fixed that we want the lotus feet of Krishna. We find about desperation in the Bhagavatam. Even Rukmini Devi, she had never seen Krishna, but she wrote beautiful 7 prayers in her letter, in her transcendental love letter to Krishna, begging Krishna, you please come and kidnap me. So we can find so many examples. So many examples. Draupadi cried out, Krishna came. Gajendra cried out, Krishna came. Prahlad is crying out, Krishna came. Gopis are crying out here, Krishna came. Later in the Rasa Leela, gopis in the middle of the night, they cry out, Krishna comes from his hiding. We find Rukmini, she cried out, Krishna came. Time and again, we find this principle, devotee does not have to go a long distance to find Krishna. He simply has to be where he is, performing the service that he is doing, but increasing the temperature of his heart's desire, yearning, aspiration to find Krishna, and then Krishna makes his way into the life of the devotee. We don't have to walk long distance. Like for example, Jatayu. He just served Ramachandra. He didn't go searching for Ram. Ram came searching for Jatayu. Same with Shabari. She didn't go searching for Ram. Ram came searching for her. This is so hope-giving. We don't have to go a long distance to find God. Sthane sthita shruti gatan tanuvang manobhi ye prayasho jita jito pipitai trilokyam. In the 14th chapter, 3rd verse of the 10th canto, 10:14:3, Brahmaji mentions that if we just stay put, and just like the COVID taught us that when we are locked down and we can't go out, that's when we go inwards. So this world, we are in a lockdown where we can't go to find Krishna, but if we can go within in the mood of Rukmini, the gopis, Dhruva Maharaj, Draupadi, Prahlad Maharaj, Gajendra, Shabari or Jatayu, then we don't have to go. Krishna or Sri Ramachandra, they come searching for us. Then continuing in the pastime, we see hearing the beautiful kirtan of the gopis. At the end of 1 month, Krishna comes there. And it's described, Krishna comes there with 4 small boys. He doesn't bring his brother Balaram for this pastime. Nor does Krishna bring his friends. Krishna brings 4 young boys. Those boys are about 2 or 3 years old. Who are they? Shridam, Sudam, Vasudam and Kinkini. Our Sri Jiva Goswami Pad describes these are the 4 associates of Krishna who are not regular friends, but they are boys in the village. And they love Krishna so much that whenever Krishna walks around with his friends, these boys, they're naked, they're without clothes. They're running behind Gopal. They say, Gopal, Gopal, we want to play with you. And Krishna and the friends would sometimes carry these boys on their shoulders. So Krishna is about 5 or 6 years old. Again, to set the timeline straight for this pastime. You see, just before this, Krishna turns 6 in the 15th chapter, when Krishna is given the charge of the cows over the calves. So during the Gocharan Leela, Gopashtami, that was on Krishna's 6th birthday, right? Then after that, we find in the Govardhan Leela, Krishna is 7 years old. And between these 2 pastimes, the Chir Haran, the stealing of the clothes, takes place. So Krishna is about 6.5 years old. The gopis are about around 4 or 5 years old. Krishna is about 6.5 years old. And these little boys, they're about 2-3 years old. And Krishna is carrying these boys on his shoulder and taking them to this pastime. Why didn't Krishna take Balaram? Why didn't Krishna take Balaram? Sri Hari Suriji has written something amazing here. He said that the gopis are abala. Abala means, bala means strength, and abala means those young girls who are physically not very strong. They're tender. So abala, they're without strength. But the word abala also means without Balaram. Krishna has promised in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As the devotee approaches me, I will approach them accordingly. So the gopis are approaching Krishna as abala, without strength. So Krishna also approached the gopis as abala, without Balaram. Or Krishna approached the gopis with these young boys who are also abala. Abala also means those young boys who are without strength. So carrying them with him, the gopis are abala, strengthless physically. So Krishna also carried some boys to say, you are abala, we are also abala. We are also young and without strength. So then the question is, why even carry those boys there? Why take them? Because Krishna thought, according to our acharyas, this will help me in stealing all the clothes together and quickly. Because if I have to do all the service by myself, it is going to take a long time. Stealing the clothes of so many little girls and tying it on the branches of the tree, it's going to take a long time. So Krishna took some help with him. He recruited some boys who can help him on this journey. Now this is quite interesting. At this point, Shukadeva Goswami calls Krishna Bhagavan. He calls Krishna Yogeshwareshwaraha, he who is the Lord of the Yogeshwaras. Yogeshwaras are celibate monks. You see, like the Nava Yogendras, the 9 sons of Maharaj Rishabdev, they were celibate. The 4 Kumaras, they were celibate. And Krishna is not just Yogeshwara, they are Yogeshwaras. The 4 Kumaras are Yogeshwaras. The 9 Yogendras are Yogeshwaras. And Krishna is the Lord of all of them. So if they are celibate, how can they have a master who's lusty? That's the point. And if Krishna is invoked as Bhagavan in this verse, he is the Lord of renunciation. How can the Lord of renunciation be lusty? This is quite amazing. Krishna has been called as Bhagavan and Yogeshwareshwaraha. And the gopis at this point have been called as Shuddha Bhava Prasaditaha. That Krishna was pleased, Prasaditaha, by the Shuddha Bhav of the gopis. The gopis were not lusty and Krishna is not lusty. That lust is there in our mind. Even now we see in Vrindavan, many times boys are running naked. Small little kids, they are playing with other boys. And many times you also may have witnessed this. You do Giriraj Parikrama, you can see little boys and sometimes little girls. They have a shirt on the top and they're naked below. They have a little t-shirt or a shirt on the top and they are not having any clothes below their waist and they're busy playing. This is the culture in Vrindavan even now. What to speak of 5,000 years ago? It was the same culture. There's no lusty, materialistic, sensual, stimulating content out there. That's in the present social media, sexual, pornographic addictions and social media, internet addiction generation, where there's so much stimulus to senses, sensual content. But 5,000 years ago, when Krishna is 6 years old, and the gopis are 4 or 5 years old, and the boys on the shoulder are about 2 or 3 years old, and they are stealing the clothes. This is completely sweet and completely innocent. We are the ones who are making it so sensual and making it so uncomfortable in society. Many times people read the Bhagavatam and they say, this is your cream scripture? Where your God is stealing the clothes of young girls who are bathing in the river? Well, we have to understand. If this was a sexual pastime, if this was a lust-stimulating pastime, do you really think Bhagavan Vyasadeva would have included that in the Bhagavatam, which was written after the Puranas and the Upanishads and the 4 Vedas? Why would Bhagwan Vyasadeva, who wrote 400,000 Sanskrit verses, put a lust-inducing pastime there? And even if, let's say, playing devil's advocate, he did do it, why would his son Shukadev Goswami, who didn't know the difference between male and female, what to speak of his clothes being on, he didn't even know if his body was on or off. That's how renowned Shukadev Goswami is. And why would he, if this was a lusty content, why would he include that in his narration? And let's say, playing devil's advocate ahead, if he still, like his father, included something that shouldn't have been there in the Bhagavatam, why would Parikshit Maharaj, who's on his departing bed, listen to something like this? Even you and I, if we are on our departing bed, we don't want to hear to Bollywood music. We don't want to hear to anything material, right? And why would Parikshit Maharaj, who saw Krishna in the womb, who's so pure, why would he desire to hear something like this? Playing devil's advocate further, let's say Parikshit Maharaj is also swept away by the currents of lusty discussions. Why would this happen on the banks of the Ganga? You and I may have discussions like this. God forbid we never have discussions like this. But let's say our mind flips and we have discussions like this. We will not do it in a temple hall, let alone on the banks of the Ganga. Let's say, playing a devil's advocate, Vyasadeva, Shukadev, Parikshit Maharaj, Ganga Devi, everybody got stimulated. What to speak of Suta Goswami and Shaunaka Rishi at Naimisharanya? Why would they repeat this pastime? And when Shukadev Goswami was speaking this pastime, Parshuram was sitting there. Think about what happens when Parshuram gets angry. He swept Mother Earth 21 times, creating 9 streams of blood. That's how powerful Parshuram is. He's sitting there. Atri Muni is sitting there. Bharadwaja Rishi is sitting there. Gautama Rishi is sitting there. Vashishta Muni is sitting there. And all of them with their disciples. Why would a lust-inducing topic being discussed? Let's say everybody got stimulated, okay? Playing devil's advocate. Everybody's under the spell of lust. What happens to all the commentators on the Bhagavata? What happens to Sri Sridhar Swami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? What happens to Srila Sanatan Goswami? What happens to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who wouldn't even accept Kala Krishna Das after Kala Krishna Das became or went astray in South India? He fell prey to the gypsies there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Chota Haridas. Jadyapi tumi chao Mahaprabhur kripa, it is described. If you want the mercy of Mahaprabhu, then you should keep the pastime of Chota Haridas in your heart. Jadyapi tumi chao Mahaprabhu charan. If you want Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, if you want Mahaprabhu's kripa, then Choto Haridaser kotha thake jeno mone. Then keep the pastime of Chota Haridas in your heart. This is the advice given to all the Vaishnavas. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha kama krodha tatha lobha tasmad etatrayam tachet. Lust is one of the leading gateways to hell. And how could Krishna go against his own teachings? Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava. Right? There has to be seriously something being seriously wrong. How can there be lust in the body of Krishna? Because the Bhagavad Gita teaches us the 3 sitting places of lust are the mind, intelligence and senses. All 3 of them, gross or subtle, are material. And Krishna's body is completely spiritual. How can lust sit? Krishna is called Madan Mohan, who destroys and wins over Cupid. How can he be won over by Cupid? How is the name Madan Mohan finding its befitting place of reverence? Not just that. Not just that. By remembering Krishna, lust is destroyed in the heart. Think of hippies becoming happies. Those who had open sexual relationships. They remembered Krishna, chanted the holy name, followed the regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, went to the saffron cloth, brahmacharya, took sannyas, and have been holding their vows for 50 long years in our movement. By remembering Krishna in the present generation, jivas are able to conquer lust. How can there be lust in the life of that Lord? So these arguments are all sharp arrows we need to keep ready in the quiver of our heart. Next time someone challenges us, get ready to shoot these arrows. Because Krishna told us, don't shy away, O Arjuna, nimitta matram bhavashavyashachin. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Remember me and fight. So therefore, when there are arguments, we remember these arguments and these discussions, and we shoot these arrows when there are rebuttal and counter arguments. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. There are so many Gitas, but when Krishna spoke, it's called the Bhagavad Gita, the song of God. In the Vishnu Sahasranam, so many speakers speak, and it's always Bhishma Uvacha, Yudhishthira Uvacha, Vyasa Uvacha, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Sanjaya Uvacha, Parvati Uvacha, and when Sri Krishna speaks, it is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. How can there be lust in the heart of that Bhagavan who has been glorified throughout? Krishna sees us naked all through. Krishna sitting in the heart as Paramatma. He can see us, what to speak of gross body. Krishna even knows our subtle desires. Krishna can smell our intention because he is closer to us than the breath that we breathe. Why does he have to see us stripped naked physically? He doesn't have to desire, because we were born naked. We die naked. When we were born, the nurse sees us naked. When we are dead and gone, we are bathed and we are kept on the funeral pyre. When we are born and when we depart, people around see us stripped naked. Bhagavan, with whom we have an eternal relationship, has nothing to do with our bodies. Kubjaya kimu nama rupam adhikam kim tat sudhamno dhanam. If Krishna was physically attracted, why would he give mercy to Kubja, who was hunchback? If Krishna was seeing physical beauty, why would he give up so many gopis in the middle of the Rasa Leela when one Radharani left? Krishna is bhavagrahi. Krishna is only looking at our sweet devotional intent. So Bhagavatam at this point says, Krishna did not come there to strip the gopis or steal their clothes to see them without clothes. That wasn't the purpose. Krishna came there, the Bhagavatam describes, tat karma siddhaye, to fulfill the desire of the gopis by taking everything away from them and offering himself directly to them. So here it is described that when Krishna came to this assembly with the boys, he ordered all his little boys to start mixing the clothes and putting it on different branches of different trees, just to play naughty, because Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. They wanted a husband who was not stereotyped, but a person who was extremely playful. So fulfilling that desire, Krishna took the clothes and playing with the gopis, he told all the boys, okay, you help me out. 4 boys and Krishna, 5 of them put together, they were taking different clothes and putting them on different branches of different trees. And then when the gopis were neck deep into the ice cold water of the Jamuna, Krishna said, you have been praying for me, look, here I come. The gopis said, where are our clothes? Krishna said, I have put it on the branches of these trees. These clothes of yours are like colorful fruits, and the fruits are supposed to be on the trees. So I have put it in its place. I have put it in its rightful place. The gopis said, oh dear Krishna, you are the son of Nanda Maharaj. Please shower mercy on us. Please. The word Nanda is the name of the father, but Nanda also means Ananda, he who gives joy. So Krishna, you are the son of the king, And you are the son of that Lord, Nanda Maharaj, who gives joy to everyone. So please give us joy by returning our clothes. It is not proper for you to steal clothes. Krishna said, well, you know I am a thief. Braje prasiddham navanita chauram gopangananam cha dukula chauram. Krishna steals the complexion of the rain cloud. Krishna steals the heart and the complexion of Sri Radharani as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna steals butter in the neighbor's house. Krishna, through his holy name, he steals our sins. What to speak of stealing the clothes of the gopis, dear devotees? Krishna has stolen even our clothes. He steals the clothes of all devotees. He is a very big thief. When we walked into the temple for the first time, we were in jeans and t-shirt. Krishna stole our clothes. Yes, he stole our jeans. He stole our t-shirt. He stole our tie and suit. And then he stole everything. He stole our neck. Because the neck initially belonged to us and we wanted to wear nice chains and chokers and necklaces. Now we have kantimala and nothing else. Our forehead belongs to us. Krishna stole our forehead and now we have tilak. Our birthdays belong to us. He stole that also. And now instead of cutting cakes on our own birthday, we are working 10 times quantitative and qualitative hard work on Krishna's birthday. Instead of having desire to decorate our own bodies, we are having desire to decorate the deity. Instead of we eating, we have developed the desire to cook and feed others. What is happening, dear devotees? Krishna has stolen the covering, the material covering that we were draping ourselves with. Krishna has stolen that. So that is Chirharan. Before Krishna gives himself to us, he steals away the last trace of material covering. The clothes also represent hypocrisy. The clothes also represent falsity. When there is something that we hide, that is false. Because truth can be hidden. If you ask me my name today, or 10 years later, or 20 years later, or 50 years later, the name is going to remain the same. Next birth, of course, the name will change. Things that are truth will remain truth. They don't need a covering. But that which is false, I have to remember what I said to you last time. And I have to keep covering it. And Krishna is Satya Vratam Satya Param Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye Satyasya Satyam Rita Satya Netram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. Krishna is Satyam Param Dhimahi. He is truth personified. No covering, no hypocrisy, no duplicity, no excuses, no clothes of shyness can get us to Krishna. Krishna rips us of the last covering of embarrassment, shyness, being ashamed, to a point where we are completely fearless and we can call out to Krishna holding nothing as our own. Draupadi Devi, she was calling out in mid-assembly. And it's quite interesting, dear devotees, quite interesting. The gopis, when they were offering Katyayani Vrat, they were saying Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, meaning we offer all of this to Shri Krishna. But the word Krishna in the feminine, longer A, is the name for Draupadi. So when the gopis were saying Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, one meaning is we offer all this to Krishna to get him as our husband. And another meaning is we offer all of our clothes to Draupadi Devi, Krishna, who will need these clothes at the Kurusabha, at the assembly. So the gopis' clothes were taken by Krishna to put on the tree. And these were the saris that were given to Draupadi on the Kurusabha. By saying Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu, Saraswati Devi was sitting on the tongue of the gopis and flipping the prayer as an offering to Draupadi Devi, who will need sari at that point. So Krishna took the sari from the gopis and tied them end to end and offered it to Draupadi who needed help. And it's quite interesting. As the gopis are saying Krishna's name, Draupadi's name, Draupadi there in the Kuru Sabha says, Govinda Dwaraka Vasin, Krishna Gopi Jana Priya. Oh Krishna, who is the Lord of the gopis, please protect me. And Dushasan was seeing, the more I pull the sari, the more sari is coming in. Keshavadhrita Vastra Sharira, Keshavadhrita Vastra Sharira, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Krishna became the sari for Draupadi and embraced Draupadi at the most precarious moment when nobody could help her. Krishna was invoked at that time as the Lord of the gopis. Why? Because the gopis here were calling Krishna as the Lord of Draupadi. So the cycle was complete so beautifully. Also, another beautiful meaning is Krishna's teaching all of us by this stealing of the clothes pastime. When you come to your guru, don't hide your insecurities. Don't hide behind the cloth of excuses. Just like when you go to the doctor and let's say if you have a boil up here and if the doctor says, can you unbutton and can you show me? We're not going to be shy at that point because we want that boil in the back to be cured. We're not going to show the arm when the boil is here. When we don't shy from the doctor, why shy from the Guru and why shy from the Paramatma, Shri Krishna, who is Krishna Mande Jagat Guru, the Lord of the whole world. This principle Krishna is teaching all of us through the gopis. So when the gopis were saying, Krishna, please give our clothes back, Krishna said, why don't you come and take it yourself? The gopis said, how do you expect us to come out? We are girls and we cannot come out like that. Krishna said, I will close my eyes, you come and you take you take your clothes. And the gopis were all looking at each other what to do. Krishna said, look, you have to take your clothes, otherwise you will be freezing in this water. Please come and take it. They said, Krishna, please give our clothes back. Krishna said, you are the one who was praying for me to be your husband, and now you're not ready to obey your husband? You're not ready to obey the Lord whom you've been praying for 30 days? This is the only instruction I give you, and you're not ready to follow. The gopis said, no, we will follow. And one after another, they started coming out, covering their private parts. Krishna said, no, not like this. You have offended Varuna Dev by talking loudly in the water, by joking in the water, by splashing in the water, by swimming frivolously in the water, and by bathing naked in the water. Therefore, as punishment, I have stolen these clothes. And now you have to take your hands up in your head, on top of your head, and offer your pranam to Varuna Dev. And the gopis smiled and they offered their prayers to Varuna Dev. And Krishna and the boys at that time, one after another, they started giving the clothes, and the gopis very happily dressed themselves and they accepted Krishna. When they wore the clothes which actually belonged to the gopis now had become so fragrant. Why? Because now it was touched by the bodily fragrance of Krishna. This was the close of the embrace of Krishna of eternal acceptance. It's teaching all of us that when we walk through sadhana, when we walk through circumstantial surrender, then Krishna showers kripa and we get embraced and accepted by Krishna's hands. Then the gopis went home, Krishna also went home. But before they left, Krishna promised the gopis, I wholeheartedly accept all of you as my wives. And in the upcoming Sharatkal, autumn season, we will have a beautiful Rasa Leela here on the same banks of the Jamuna. And at that time, all of you will dance with me in the eternal dance of transcendental love called as the Rasa Leela. I wholeheartedly accept all of you. So this is the beautiful pastime of Krishna stealing the clothes, giving all of us a lot of hope that we should follow in the footsteps of the gopis. And just like this is a material example, please forgive me, but in the transcendental sense, agar Krishna se pyar kiya to darna kya? If one falls in love with Sri Krishna, if one surrenders to Sri Krishna, how long can we hide it? How long can you put your kanthi mala inside? How long can you hide your tilak when you go out? How long can we say, no, I'm not a Hare Krishna? Why not be happy that, yes, I belong to Sri Krishna and this is my Mangal Sutra and this is my Sindur. For lifetimes we have had wrong identifications and we have been whipped black and blue because of our wrong identifications. Why not call out to Krishna and walk through all different circumstances in life and all tests, being completely loyal to Sri Krishna without any garments of hypocrisy. Final point to conclude, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya, that these bodies are like clothes on the soul. And by stealing the clothes, Krishna teaches us, if you worship me, I will steal all your future bodies away who are like clothes, by giving you liberation from the cycle of birth and death. O Jiva, no more reincarnation, no more material body, which are all represented by the clothes in this pastime. So with this, I will pause. If there are questions, comments or reflections, I'll be very, very happy to take them. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Thank you so much for that, Prabhu. We were muted the entire time, but I hope that you could see from our expressions the laughters and amusements and the realizations we were having from that. But now that we're unmuted, if we can express our appreciation with a loud Haribol, with your permission. Thank you. Do we have questions here? Quite a few. Okay. For the lack of time, we'll take a few questions. So please don't mind.
Thank you, dear Prabhu, for the wonderful lecture. It was so inspiring. We were talking about the form of Krishna, and Prabhupada also mentions that there's no difference between Krishna and his body. Both are Satchid and Anand. And at the same time, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see deities are also non-different from Krishna. So my question was, when any asura sees Krishna in Leela, or when we see the deity form of Krishna, Krishna being full of knowledge, why don't our eternal love for Krishna get dormant at that time when we see Krishna? Why don't we get self-realized?
The point is, although Krishna is completely transcendental even to the eyes of the demon, Krishna is manifesting his transcendental form, but somehow because of lack of love, what happens is, Shastra describes Maya Rachita Tanur Abhas, Kanchukavat, which means like a snake. Just like you see a snake, it sheds its covering and then moves ahead. It's covered by a covering, it sheds its covering and then moves ahead. Similarly, Krishna also, when he comes in this world, to the eyes of a demon who has no love for Krishna, Maya Rachita Tanur Abhas, Krishna covers himself with like a Mayic form, like an illusory form, just like Vrindavan Dham. Chintamani Dham is covered by like the scales or the skin of a serpent. The actual serpent is within, and that skin can be shed away and the serpent moves ahead. Similarly, Vrindavan Dham, or the form of the Lord, gets covered by a Mayic covering of Yoga Maya, of course, so that the demon, when he looks at that Mayic covering. When we look at the deity, we look at that Mayic covering of whether this is Panchadhatu or Ashtadhatu or whether this is wood or marble. But to the extent our eyes become anointed, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, to that extent, the snake sheds its skin behind and the true form comes out. And that is the form we can see corresponding to our vision, which is on the basis of our devotional love. So the more we increase our love for Krishna, we can even talk with the deity like Sakshi Gopal.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for such an amazing response. Do we have one from ladies' side?
Hi Krishna Prabhu, thank you for this wonderful class. My question is, how can we get the same hankering like gopis have for Krishna? What can we do? What steps we can follow in this, like practically, to get the same hankering?
Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shunvatam te nirvishya karna vivarai haratonga tapam rupam drijam drijimatam akhilartha labham tvaya chuta vishati chittam apatrapam me. Rukmini Devi never saw Krishna, but she heard about Krishna from a Brahmana who would come and speak Krishna Katha to her. So by hearing about Krishna from the Brahmana, Rukmini Devi developed so much hankering in her heart that she wrote a love letter through that Brahmana to Sri Krishna. She had never seen him. But the word in the Bhagavatam is Shrutva. The more you hear about Krishna, and it's also important whom you hear from. Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate. One gets devotion in accordance to the association one holds in one's life. So if one hears Krishna Katha from the lips of a person who is very advanced, Tasmin Mahan Mukharitam Madhuvish Charitram Piyusha Shesh Sarita Paritas Ravanti. The 4th canto, 29th chapter Srimad Bhagavatam describes, if we hear Hari Katha from the lips of someone who loves Krishna, then very quickly that love can be kindled in the heart or rekindled in the heart. So long story short, daily reading of the Krishna book, daily hearing Hari Katha, Krishna Leela, Gaur Leela, chanting the holy name, serving Vaishnavas, not wasting time and not criticizing anyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Since we don't see any hands raised in the chat room, we'll take one last question. Is that okay, Prabhu? From here?
Sure. Yeah.
You raised your hands.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for the wonderful lecture. I actually have question regarding prayers, because when we were discussing, you mentioned Patim me Kuru Dev Namaha. So we are asking for
Patim
Krishna.
में Kuru te namaha. Te namaha.
Oh.
आपके चरणों में नमन हो. Te means unto
Oh,
you.
oh, thank you, Prabhu, for correction. So we are asking for Krishna to become our husbands. So my main question is, but in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we are always trying to pray for their union or serve the union. So the main point was, when we pray, does our mood gets adjusted on its own towards Sampradaya, or which is the serving union actually? We get to become the wife of Krishna if we say this prayer to Katyani Devi, or like, do we actually follow the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has informed us to get associated or to learn from devotees to serve the union? So
Yeah.
that is my question actually.
Yeah, beautiful question. Very, very well thought of and well introspected. Very nice question. So in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, if you see the prominence, the prayers are always in Yugal Swarup, Radha Krishna. Like for example, Radha Krishna Pranamo Jugalo Kishore, Radha Krishna. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan, Radha Krishna. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Jugala Milan Arati Korove Lalitadi Sakhi Gan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Radha Krishna. In so many songs we can see Radha Krishna. Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama, Srila Jiva Goswami. So this is our desire. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, our desire is to become a maid servant of Radha and Krishna. This is our desire. So this prayer, I said, we can offer when we enter a Durga temple. Because if you enter a Durga temple, we should know what to say there. What is the closest Krishna conscious link we can draw? You don't have to say Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayoginyadhishwari Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patimme Kurute Namaha when you see Kirchor Gopinath. That's not the purpose. The purpose is you say that when you see Katyayani Devi. And not that we want to become wives of Krishna, we say that to Durga Devi to get her blessings, just like how you bless the gopis. Actually, the gopis don't need Durga Devi's blessings. Durga Devi prays to the gopis. That is the position of the gopis. But the gopis in extreme hankering and humility, everything goes topsy-turvy. So instead of offering prayer to the gopis, Durga Devi is offering blessings and the gopis are offering prayers. So when we offer prayers to Durga Devi, we say, just like you offered blessings to gopis through this prayer, please kindly fulfill my prayer also, that may I have love in my heart for Radha and Krishna. So our prayer remains the same. In the Gaudiya Sampradaya, we don't aspire to become the wives of Krishna. That is not the aspiration, because that mood is not there in Vrindavan. Gopi Bhav is there in being a gopi in Vrindavan, but the mood of being like Rukmini or Satyabhama in Dwaraka or Mahishis in Mathura, that's not there in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So we offer prayers according to the mood of the Sampradaya and the desire of the heart.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the answer.
Hare Krishna.
There's someone's raised hand on the Zoom chat room. If you can unmute yourself, Jeevadaya Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. I never heard anyone explain this pastime in a way that you can separate the lust. Like, I had a faith on in Krishna's pastimes and everything, but now the faith has been stamped by your words. So now I can very well distinguish the lust from this pastime. My question was like in the middle of this narration, you were mentioning that the bhajan and the bhojan are directly related. Staying here in the temple, there is a very opulent prasadam always being offered to Radha future Gopinath, and we also get to relish the same prasadam. And the prasadam is so opulent that we cannot control our tongue. So how can we, as a fallen souls, like try to control our tongue to practice our sadhana in more deeper way?
I would say three things. One, select what you want to eat. You don't have to eat everything. Let's say if there's sweet, if there's paratha, there's roti, there's 3 sabjis, I'm just giving an example, then you don't have to accept everything. You just pick what you want. That's one. Second, or pick everything but in small quantities. That also means you can even skip a meal. Instead of eating that quality and that quantity 3 times a day, morning, let's say you have just fruits and oats or something like that. You can keep some fruits with you for morning, and afternoon we can have prasadam, and evening maybe milk or something. So so in that way you accept prasadam, but you can decide what to accept, how much to accept, and how frequently to accept. And third point, most importantly, exercise. Because if we eat lot of quantity, lot of quality every single day in the cold of Canada without exercise, oh, that's a beautiful, wonderful, royal road to disaster. Physical disaster. Because we will start getting lazy because the temperature is low, so we don't feel like doing anything. And we're eating the calories that we don't need, and we're not even exercising. So these would be my pointers. Then also exercising helps in the sense that mood becomes better. Living in places when it's very cold, naturally one can have mood swings. And many times we munch because of bad moods. We feel sad about something, we feel angry about something, we feel upset about something. We compensate by overeating. So instead, the flip side is, if you exercise, then the mood is better, the clarity, the focus, the enthusiasm to serve, the health, the energy level, everything is high. And especially if somebody wants to be celibate, if somebody wants to be brahmachari, which means everyone, because the definition of brahmacharya is karmana manasa vacha. Sarvavastasu sarvada sarvatra maithunatyago brahmacharya prachakshate. Prabhupada quotes this verse in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita purport, which means brahmacharya is defined as through thought, through word, through action, in all places, at all times, in all circumstances, to give up sensual indulgence. Not through texts, not through pictures, not through videos, not through vulgar jokes, not through flirting, not through thoughts. And if somebody wants to be like that, if somebody wants to attain Krishna with focus, one has to be like that. One has to be focused, because the more one indulges in sexual activity, then you will see that the chitta, the consciousness, starts to fluctuate. One becomes very restless. One will constantly keep doing this on their phone. Fixity will not come. Memory will come down. Back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, and sleep, lack of energy, all of this sets in. So for a brahmachari, it's very, very important to exercise. Whether it is at a gym or whether it's yoga, you decide. But it's very important. 45 minutes you have to sweat. Perform Surya Namaskar, perform asanas, perform pranayam. Very important, because that kicks in health and keeps your... Now, especially for devotees, we want to sit for long hours. Kirtan, we are sitting. Katha, we are sitting. Driving, we are sitting. All our services, we are sitting. What happens to our back? In a few years, we have back pain. So if you have exercises that we perform, then you see spiritual health, physical health, appetite, sleep, regulation, sense control, everything is set in. And to keep that going, proper eating is very important. Because with a very heavy body, exercising becomes difficult. So I'm putting eating, quantity, quality, frequency, and exercise all put together as a holistic response.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That was wonderfully explained. Thank you very much.
Do we have time for one more question?
Sure, Prabhu. We can take one last. Yeah.
You want?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. First of all, I want to thank you for increasing our interest in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially mine. And my question is, you quote a lot of acharyas and their commentaries, like Hari Suri and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So is there any website or are there any books that we can have all these commentaries in hand and we can also read it?
I personally read it from Sanskrit. It's available in the multiple Sanskrit commentaries that are uploaded in archives.com. The original Sanskrit commentaries are there. For me, as a profession, I'm a Sanskrit teacher. So it helps me practice my Sanskrit by reading the commentaries. And also, I was very fortunate in my life to hear these kathas from the lips of my Guru Maharaj, who would explain each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam with multiple Sanskrit commentaries. So what I have heard and what I have read, by Krishna's mercy, Vaishnavas like all of you give me opportunity to remember and share them. So I'm very, very grateful. But I think His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj has translated Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's, and I believe Srila Jiva Goswami's commentaries also. They are extremely handy.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, we want to officially thank you for being with us, but this is still incomplete for us because you're not here with us in person. I don't know when will you get an opportunity to be in Toronto, but consider this, please, as an official invite. We'd love to host you. And the temple here is beautiful. Just Radha Shichar Gopinath, our presiding deities, are waiting to be able to see such a devotee like yours. So please come when you can.
I will be very, very happy to come as soon as possible. It's just that I've been keeping busy with something or the other, so near yet so far. We are so close. Just few hours and then I should be there. But somehow something or the other has been on my plate. Trust me, I'm going to put it on high priority. And as soon as possible, we will try to come.
Thank you, Prabhu. And we also want to thank Jagannath Krishna Prabhu, who is a guide and mentor to us here, and along with his wife Jayashree Mataji for being instrumental in having us being able to speak to you. So can we do a Haribol for them also?
Haribol.
Also, everyone who joined online, like on a Saturday, today's Saturday, right? Saturday was on a weekend morning to hear Krishna Katha. It's just an ecstatic experience to have everyone. I think it would please you to know, Prabhu, what we do here. I'll keep it super brief. I know you're very busy, like the schedule is packed, I'm sure. Like we're a group of individuals, especially here, we're called Bhakti Academy. Maybe Prabhu already informed you. We're 15 odd youngsters living in the temple as brahmacharis and brahmacharinis. And we have friends who live outside, but they help us serve Srila Prabhupada's mission in the city. So we like to be active at the university, at yoga studios, doing Sankirtan, Harinam. And trust me, when it comes to our individual sadhana, your videos, your lectures, they help us a lot and they inspire us to keep moving forward. So it would mean a lot to us whenever we can see you. But today was just such a sweet spot on our experience in being in the temple that we can't thank you enough.
I am actually very, very grateful, very honored to be with all of you this morning. I am only a talker. I am not a person who serves in person and works hard like all of you. All of you are living in the temple. You're also doing Harinam, you're doing book distribution, you're preaching, you're practicing, keeping the morning program, being celibate, having Vaishnav dealings, seva, menial service. You're doing so much, all of you. I am nothing compared to anyone, nothing compared to the service that all of you are individually and collectively putting forward. I am only a blabber, always a chatterbox. But if that chattering has been of any service or any assistance or help, I am very, very grateful. Thank you
so much, Prabhu.
And thank you, Jagannath Krishna Prabhu, for being such a loving friend. And we lost you to them. America lost you to Canada. But I think it's a profit for the whole world. You're doing so much service there and inspiring so many devotees to keep up the good work, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, just one word. I love you.
Three words. 3 words.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hari Hari. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Okay, by the way, make sure you have good prasadam now, okay? Don't worry about the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.